These Hollywood women from the Golden Age were the shining stars of the most glitzy age of movies. But when they weren't on screen, they were anything but delicate. There were sharp tongues, shocking affairs, and a restless streak that made the news pages blush behind the satin skirts and studio-polished smiles. From Jane Mansfield's flirtations with Satanism to Tallulah Bankhead's crazy party tricks, these women didn't just break the rules, they rewrote them with gin and lipstick. Hollywood's leading ladies were anything but tame behind the silk curtain. Clara Bow's wild adventures, Vivian Lee's cruel ambition, and Louise Brooks's shameless chase of pleasure are proof of this. This isn't your grandmother's nostalgia. It's a real, uncensored look at the sexiest bombshells who used foul language to gain power and left a legacy that still shocks people. Let me welcome you to Past Paradise, a place where the biggest stars in movies tell their darkest secrets. It made the directors cry when she swore like a sailor on set. When assistant director Barbara Zeman publicly stated that Blake Lively was mean to people while filming A Simple Favor in 2018, it damaged her image. Lively's mean behavior, according to Zeman, made her cry and ultimately led her to quit the business. While Lively was in court fighting Justin Baldoni, the accusations resurfaced, drawing even more attention to her behavior on set. This caused a lot of talk about power relations and emotional abuse in Hollywood, even though Lively's team denied doing anything wrong. Why was there more fear than respect for Bette Davis? 25 years later, Bette Davis is still seen as an example of bold art, but her memory is tinged with fear. Davis often got into fights with directors and co-stars due to her choppy speech, piercing eyes, and failure to please studio personnel. With her need to be perfect and her mood swings, she gained both respect and fear. Errol Flynn was one of the stars she reportedly turned down for Gone with the Wind because she thought he wasn't good enough. Many people were afraid to question her power, but she changed Hollywood. When Joan Crawford brought her co-star down to earth. The staff of the 1940 movie Strange Cargo discussed a shocking event in which Joan Crawford reportedly flipped a table during an angry fight with co-star Spencer Tracy in a biography clip that surfaced in 2025. It said that Tracy made fun of Crawford's acting decisions, which made her react very strongly. Experts now say that MGM almost stopped production because of the story, which was kept secret at the time. As Hollywood looks back at its golden age heroes, rumors about Crawford's unstable personality have resurfaced. No one would talk about Barbara Stanwyck's cocky outbursts on set. Some production notes from the Big Valley that surfaced in 2025 revealed that Barbara Stanwyck had a difficult attitude and used profanity while filming. Her lively and often swear-filled outbursts when scenes were late or co-stars messed up lines were remembered by the crew. Although she had temper tantrums, Stanwyck was admired by the cast and crew for her professionalism and charm, even though some players had to do 6 takes of a famous breakfast scene because they were so drunk. Their mouths were dirtier than the movies Katharine Hepburn was in. Katharine Hepburn's famous off-camera language was made public in 2025 through newly released letters and crew interviews. It was very different from how she seemed on screen. Hepburn was renowned for her slurred speech and her portrayal of high-class parts. During practices, she was said to swear like a sailor and once called a director a pompous ass with the IQ of a doorknob. Professionals spoke of her swearing fits as legend. In real life, Hepburn's words were often more shocking than the most daring parts she played in movies, despite being very articulate on screen. What made Tallulah Bankhead famous for being embarrassing? The profanity that Tallulah Bankhead never apologized for became an essential part of her public image and can't be separated from her memory by 2025. Bankhead shocked crowds and coworkers with her sexy comments and outlandish behavior. She was known for her raspy voice and cringeworthy one-liners. "My father warned me about men and alcohol, but he never mentioned women and cocaine," was one of her famous remarks. It showed how rebellious she was. She became a cultural icon of rebellious beauty due to her wild nature. It didn't hurt her business. How Mae West used 2 different languages in private. Scientists are still studying Mae West's use of double entendres in 2025. They've discovered a secret language that's blurred the line between comedy and seduction. She used catchphrases like, "I used to be Snow White, but I drifted," as deep criticisms of gender roles and the idea of innocence. It was easy for West to get around editing because her plots often had racy messages hidden in innocent conversations. Her skill with words is still a model for telling politically charged stories in entertainment. What Judy Garland's foul-mouthed Disney ban was really about. Uncovered studio letters in 2025 revealed that Disney maintained an unofficial blacklist for Judy Garland in the 1940s due to her erratic behavior and use of vulgar language off-script. Garland allegedly cursed at a casting director when she was told to lose weight during a failed audition for a musical project with another artist. In a famous quote, Walt Disney is said to have said that Judy Garland was too volatile for the brand. This was never publicly proven, but it became a well-known fact in Hollywood, leading to decades of rumors about her tense relationships in the entertainment industry. In a curse you've never heard before, Rita Hayworth called out a director. Rita Hayworth and director Charles Vidor reportedly got into a heated argument while filming Gilda, according to a book written by a former Columbia Pictures sound engineer published in 2025. The team was shocked into silence when Hayworth allegedly let out a torrent of creative swear words because she was fed up with having to do multiple takes and Vidor's condescending tone. Many Spanish phrases and insults were used in her rage, which became famous behind the scenes. People ignored the event at the time, but now it's seen as a turning point in her confidence. His biography was shocked by Hedy Lamarr's dirty diary. Stephen Shearer, a historian, released parts of a secret diary that people believed were genuine in 2025 due to renewed interest in Hedy Lamarr's previously unreleased works. She wrote about specific things including affairs in Hollywood, corporate swindling, and her intense dislike for MGM's leaders in her journals. People saw a darker, more rebellious side of Lamarr when she wrote honest thoughts about herself. Many scholars had doubts about where the diary came from, but what was written in it started new conversation about Lamarr's freedom, sexuality, and the abuse she faced behind the scenes. Studio executives hid Marilyn Monroe's lewd behavior. Monroe was admired as a sensitive figure by her fans until 2025, when newly scanned tapes from her acting classes revealed that she often used profanity and made vulgar jokes. Behind-the-scenes videos and chats with her, which showed her honest speech, were allegedly cut out by 20th Century Fox directors who were afraid it would harm her ability to get work. Her honest, uninhibited personality was hidden by the sex symbol image that studios tried to protect, as director Billy Wilder put it, her elegant vulgarity. After decades of silence, Greta Garbo's poopy mouth was released. The sound staff at MGM released audio recordings from 2025 that showed Greta Garbo using surprisingly bad language off-camera during Queen Christina practices. She often muttered Swedish swear words between takes, which technicians called elegantly foul-mouthed. A mistake with Garbo's outfit led to a joke in which she said she would burn the damn wig. Some people who knew her well say she was very skilled at using sarcasm and profanity, even though the public perceived her as cold and classy. These new details about her make her mystery deeper by mixing her coolness with a surprising lack of respect. Audrey Hepburn was not a saint. The interview that was blocked. It wasn't until 2025 that fans were shocked to discover that Audrey Hepburn had been candid about her anger at Hollywood's lies in a 1979 interview. The system, which Hepburn called a polished lie, exploited actors while expecting them to be flawless. The video, which had been heavily edited before its release, was recovered and featured in a documentary that questioned her image as a saint. People rarely saw a side of Hepburn that came out in her sharp wit and defiant tone. This started a new discussion about how the industry treats female heroes. These shocking rants by Gloria Swanson on set almost ended her career. Using newly released letters from crew members about Gloria Swanson's fiery outbursts during the filming of Sadie Thompson, film scholars examined her unstable behavior during that time in 1928. Filming had to stop for hours because Swanson is said to have yelled at lighting techs and outfit designers. If her dressing room wasn't repainted, she allegedly told one assistant director she'd leave the set. These events almost cost her future parts, even though her ability was evident. This is why Paramount put tighter behavior requirements in her contracts. Headlines talked about the swear-filled fistfight that was concealed. An argument with foul language broke out between two VIP guests at the famous Royal Ascot horse race in June 2025. Punches and swear words were yelled back and forth, leaving one guy bloody on the grass, according to witnesses. Media coverage was quickly halted, even though video of the event went viral online due to concerns about event integrity. Security reports were kept confidential, and participants were instructed not to disclose information to the public. Concerns about responsibility at high-profile events were raised by the incident, which showed divisions within the elite. The actress who swore on air got kicked off a radio show. During an emotional interview about her BAFTA win with Emilia Perez in February 2025, Zoe Saldana was abruptly taken off a live BBC radio show after using some foul language. Since Saldana's angry outburst, which included a string of profanity, broke broadcast rules, the host tried to steer the conversation. It sparked a lot of discussion about censorship and legitimacy in the media when the feed was cut off in the middle of a speech. "It was a moment of overwhelming gratitude and chaos," Saldana said when she "It was a moment of overwhelming gratitude and chaos," Saldana said when she later said she was sorry. Hollywood's cleanest image was a lie, thanks to this diva with a terrible mouth. The book Out of the Corner by Jennifer Grey was reprinted in 2025 with complete copies of her early career interviews. These showed a sassy side of her that was different from the innocent image she had created in Dirty Dancing. In a now-famous rant at a 1989 press junket, Grey said she cursed at directors who tried to get her to change how she looked. Hollywood's image-changing techniques got more attention after her harsh language and rebellious attitude were hidden by studio PR for a long time. After one sexy scene, the directors wouldn't work with Veronica Lake. The famous scene from I Married a Witch, which made Veronica Lake famous for being unmanageable, was revisited by film scholars in 2025. During a romantic scene, Lake allegedly put a hidden 40-pound weight under her dress and cursed at co-star Frederick March, which made him break character several times. She called the movie I Married a Bitch because of the joke and the insults she used off camera. After that, many directors refused to hire her due to her poor behavior. The sexually explicit love letters written by Elizabeth Taylor have finally been made public. It was re-released in 2025 with uncensored parts of Elizabeth Taylor's private letters to Richard Burton. These letters were full of angry swear words. When someone wrote to Burton, they called him a damn beautiful bastard, and someone else wrote about how bad their fights were. In their biographies, Taylor's unvarnished emotions were used as proof of how deeply she felt things, which the authors confirmed. With their mix of grace and powerful emotion, the letters changed the way she remembers. Everyone was shocked by Lana Turner's meltdown in the bathroom. An MGM makeup artist from the 1950s told a dramatic story about Lana Turner locking herself in a studio bathroom for over an hour while shooting Imitation of Life in 1959. Turner was dealing with personal stress and production problems, and crew members said they heard her sobbing and swear. Since the equipment broke down, shooting had to stop, and the business had to close temporarily. Experts now say that the event, which the studio played down, was a turning point in Turner's mental breakdown. You've never heard of Claudette Colbert's filthy set jokes. Claudette Colbert was known to be a bit of a prankster, as evidenced by crew notes found on the set of It Happened One Night in 1934. Reports say Colbert put fake vomit in director Frank Capra's chair and once switched out the champagne prop for vinegar during a love scene. She was known for her elegance on screen. Since she was a big draw at the box office, people tolerated her annoying behavior. It's clear from these new details that she wasn't as lovely as she seemed. Instead, she looks like a prankster who liked the chaos that happened behind the scenes. Surprising information about Jean Harlow's private party life. Some letters from people who worked at MGM, which were released in 2025, revealed that Jean Harlow often hosted extravagant secret parties at her Beverly Hills home, which were typically kept private by studio PR. There were racy games, jazz singers, and unplanned skinny dipping on the nights that guests were drunk on champagne. While she was known as a sweet movie beauty, Harlow was said to have held themed parties with outfits ranging from Roman to racy. Many people had incorrect ideas about her before these new facts were revealed. They portray her as a free woman who handles her fame with a mix of bravery and secret rebellion. People on set were shocked by what Carole Lombard used to yell across the set. It was said in 2025 by a Paramount historian that Carole Lombard often broke the stress on set by making inappropriate jokes. "Who stole my damn corset?" she yelled, according to extras. "Tell Selznick I want Hazard to pay for kissing that jerk." While it takes a long time, the crew members were red-faced and laughing at her crude humor, which she often made up on the spot. The truth about these things reveals how brave and independent Lombard is, refusing to conform to Hollywood's standards of femininity. A studio was shocked when Shirley Temple spoke one word. When Shirley Temple, then 7 years old, blurted out "damn" during a practice for Curly Top in 1935, a former Fox Studios writing supervisor brought it to light in 2025. When Hollywood's kid star used foul language, the team stopped moving. The director is said to have nervously laughed it off as Temple's mother rushed in and scolded her. It was kept quiet at the time, but the issue resurfaced in studio records, casting doubt about Temple's perfect innocence. The public doesn't see Dorothy Dandridge's true, unfiltered side. Rare video clips and letters from Dorothy Dandridge's personal life were showcased at the BFI South Bank in 2025 as part of the event reintroducing Dorothy Dandridge, the cool flame. Despite her well-groomed appearance in public, Dandridge was honest, angry, and deeply upset about the racism in Hollywood. Robert Bogle, who wrote her biography, stated that she frequently had disagreements with studios over control and typecasting. Because she wrote hurtful things and honest statements in her private journals, her reputation changed to become that of a leader who concealed her pain with poise. It wasn't like Lucy Ricardo when Lucille Ball was sexual off-camera. Lucille Ball's off-camera personality was revealed in 2025 by newly released audio from CBS Studio Records. She was rude, angry, and very bossy, unlike the likable Lucy Ricardo. Crew members said she yelled bad words during rewrites of the script and scolded them for missing cues. Insiders now say Ball's backroom behavior was marked by humor and foul language, which contradicted the clean image that network executives had tried to create. One sound engineer called her a sailor in pearls. An even deeper, dirtier mouth was hidden by Lauren Bacall's deep voice. Lauren Bacall's off-screen language was much more lively than her sexy on-screen image. New digital recordings of rehearsals from Designing Women were shown in 2025. In between takes, she would lightly use foul language, and she would often make fun of studio bosses with cutting humor. Through vocal training and smoking a lot, Bacall was able to get a famously deep voice that gave her rude comments more weight. People who knew her well say she used her words like a weapon and was both sophisticated and surprisingly rude. Why Marlene Dietrich was both a beauty and a curse in Hollywood. Marlene Dietrich had a reputation for being both attractive and rude. In 2025, new OSS files and studio notes prove this. She supposedly called Joseph von Sternberg a pompous bastard with a lens fetish, and other directors who tried to tame her image bad names. She had affairs with both men and women, including JFK and Mercedes de Acosta, and she refused to fit in with anyone. Celebrities now remember Dietrich for her beauty and her refusal to apologize for her actions. Who was the actress whose swear-filled acceptance speech made studio executives gasp? There was more discussion about proper behavior in Hollywood following Jennifer Coolidge's Golden Globe speech for The White Lotus in 2023. It was clear that Coolidge was shocked when she received her award because she used a lot of foul language and F-bombs. It was funny and heartfelt, but her speech got out of hand when she enthusiastically praised author Mike White. Networks had to look at their live broadcasting rules after the moment went viral. "I just said what everyone else was thinking, loudly," Coolidge laughed later. The journalists couldn't print Ann Sheridan's nickname because it was too rude. According to rumors that have been circulated for a long time, Ann Sheridan wasn't called the Damn Delicious Texan until Warner Brothers rejected her original name. In 2025, film historians confirmed these rumors, saying that the studio chose a more demure name that still hinted at her sex appeal. The two names were disliked by Sheridan, who referred to them as a joke on my talent in internal notes. The rude nickname, which was once passed around the crew, resurfaced in bios that discussed Hollywood's need to control celebrities' images. Studio heads shut down these female stars for a reason. Reports and diaries written in 2025 revealed that influential individuals in traditional Hollywood studios employed threats, limited contracts, and image manipulation to silence actors who spoke out against them. Stars like Rita Hayworth and Judy Garland were expected to conform, and if they didn't, they risked losing their roles or having damaging stories spread about them. Confidentiality terms hid reports of abuse, and public relations teams changed people's public images to get rid of revolt. Controlling women in the entertainment business wasn't the only goal of these strategies. They were also meant to protect patriarchal power structures and limit women's freedom. The Hollywood actress whose lascivious behavior was so bad that she was banned for life. According to film critics in 2025, Barbara Payton's career ended not only because of the scandal but also because she was always rude on set. It was reported that Payton cursed at team members and refused to follow instructions while filming Trapped, culminating in a drunken rant that halted production. She was placed on a secret blacklist by major companies after executives referred to her as unmanageable. The media scandal that followed her became more famous than her acting skills, making her one of Hollywood's saddest warning tales. The dirtiest rants in classic Hollywood have been found on recordings that have never been played. There were reel-to-reel tapes from the 1940s in which stars like Bette Davis and Errol Flynn were ranting without any editing, discovered by the Academy's Audio Repair Project in 2025. Sound checks and practices were used to create these private recordings, which revealed angry outbursts full of profanity, threats, and complaints from behind the scenes. Scientists proved that the tapes were real, and one of them showed Davis calling a director a spineless worm in a tux. This caused a discussion about whether these honest moments should change how people remember Hollywood's big stars from the Golden Age. You can make a lot of money as an actress from the Golden Age by having the mouth of a truck driver. Backstage interviews and B. Arthur's military records gained popularity again in 2025. They showed that she had a terrible sense of humor that she learned as a Marine truck driver in World War II. Arthur had a deep voice and a sharp wit, and she was said to swear like a sailor on set, often fighting with producers over changes to the script. It became a badge of honor for her to be rude, which she used to hide behind comic airs. She broke new ground and turned grit into gold, which is what her fans now praise her for. The actress who made every line mean two different things, even when she wasn't on camera. In 2025, a rare behind-the-scenes video from Gentlemen Prefer Blondes revealed that Jane Russell was known for subtly altering lines of dialogue to make them funnier, even during rehearsals. Crew members remembered how she would make up racy puns on the spot, which would make her co-star, Marilyn Monroe, blush and make directors rush to cut scenes. Russell was known as the Queen of the Wink because she was known to entertain guests at Hollywood parties with naughty words when she wasn't on camera. People used to think her cleverness was crude, but now they praise it as a sly way to strengthen women. If you've watched the video till here, that means you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications bell icon